Hello everyone. Uh, I'm presenting the task 4 of the Sparks Foundation internship program. In this task, we have to analyze the global terrorism dataset and find out some valuable insights in order to find out the global hotspots of the terrorism. Let's start with the important libraries and important the data sets. In this dataset, there were some uh, problems there, so I have used some clean the dataset in a way that so that it can be read easily through the pandas. Having the dataset, these are the columns. A lot of there is plenty of columns. Actually, it is a very big dataset, around 150 MB. So there are a lot of columns, but we will not use all of those. So we will truncate it into some columns which we will use in our analysis. First, we will rename our column names in order to easily understand, and then we will only use this in peaceful columns like year, month, date, country, state, along with attack type, kill, wounded. This. So we will first make a new column named casualties. Casualties mean actually the total number of killed plus total number of wounded who have been directly affected by the terrorisms. So some basic data analysis we will use some with some word cloud. So first we will install the word cloud, then we will see which regions are the global hotspots of the terrorism. So with this word cloud we can see the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. We all know it is actually the region situated between Afghanistan and Pakistan. Actually, it is the border area of Pakistan. So this area is very a global hotspot of terrorism. Even Malala Yousafzai was, if I am not wrong, Malala Yousafzai also from this region. It is a very huge state of Pakistan. Then Federalist Minister Manipur. Also, we can say Baghdad. No surprise there. We all know that Iraq has been the global one of the most terror global hotspots of terrorism due to the emergence of the ISIS and other terrorist organization there. And then come the it's an interesting name here, the Northern Ireland. I never heard Northern Ireland is a hotspot of terrorism. So moving on to the next plot. Number of terrorist activities every year. Here is the time series analysis. Um, we can see the data from 1970 to 2017. In this bar plot, we can easily identify that last 7 or 8 years, terrorism have been significantly increased, especially last 6 years after the emergence of the new terrorist organization named ISIS and different other problem going on in the Middle East and around the world, which resulted in the increase in terrorist activities. So attack types of terrorist incident. So there are different types of attacks, terrorists used to uh, use in their violences. We can see the bombing and explosion is is very high, nowhere near to the other types of attacks. More than 80,000 bombing explosion has been happened. It's a huge number. Then called the armed assault, assassination. So popular targets of terrorism. Who are the main targets of the terrorism? Is actually the private citizen. Actually, the civilians. It's a sad thing because civilians have no connection with any kind of violence. They are victims of this terrorism. Then comes the military. Sometimes terrorists target the military, like in the Middle East, US bases in Afghanistan or Iraq, Syria nowadays. Most affected regions is definitely the Eastern North Africa, South Asia is number two is surprising, a bit surprising, but not at all because Pakistan and Afghanistan were, is part of South Asia, so it has been increased in numbers. Also, terrorist activities was a common part of life of the Sri Lankans and Indians as well. But in recent times, it has been decreased. Terrorist activities by region, another graph we will see at a cross-tab plot so that we can analyze which time of the year in which area terrorist activities have been active. We can see post 2010 period the sharp rise in terrorism, especially in the Middle East and North Africa and South Asia. Australasia and Oceania, it's a bit surprising, but the recent attack on the mosque uh, is actually the example of this. We can see after post 2000, Middle East and terrorism have been increased. Middle East and South Asian terrorists have been increased, uh, and before this, during 70s, 80s, and 90s, the terrorism regions were the Western Europe and Central and American Caribbeans. We all know the Mexico, and other countries there, Honduras, Guatemala, also faced problem of terrorism and crimes. Top affected countries, we can predict this. It will be definitely Iraq and Pakistan and Afghanistan come, and India is also a number four. We all know some very deadly terrorist attacks in India, like in Mumbai, a Taj Hotel incident. Number of attacks and number of people killed. So we can see in Iraq, more than 20,000 attacks have been happened, but which have been killed around 80,000 people. It's a massive number. We can see how deadly violence have been happened uh, there in Iraq after the post Saddam period. Terrorist groups with highest terror attacks. So terrorist group with highest terror attack it has been Taliban. And second position is ISIL. Shining Path. I don't. Most of the I am not familiar with. Irish Republican Army. I think this is the group which Northern Ireland is one of the hottest spots of the global terrorism. Boko Haram from Nigeria. Motives behind the attack. So it is a very important visualization because it is important to find out the motive behind the terrorist attack in order to stop it or decrease it. So it is also very difficult to find out sometimes because it is not very distinct. Motives can be different for the different terrorist organizations. We can see some keyword here which will be used in our workload. So for our from our workload we can see the most biggest word here is unknown. So most of the terrorist motive of the terrorist attacks uh, we actually don't know the motive and it's the truth and if we want to find out at least some motives we can see here the violence is the main motives. mm, Shia Sunni divisions protest is also government. We can see the anti-government movements in Syria and Egypt. So these are the main reason motives we can find out from this workload. So that's all for this presentation. Hope you have enjoyed. Please review my assignment. Thank you.